The Coliseum will not be open when I arrive. I'll just take a side trip here. This building says Basilica. Perhaps God is calling again. As far as I know, basilicas are places of worship. Basilica Santi Cosma e Damiano. For a moment I was wondering where the cross was, but I could see it. It's not on the... I was expecting the cross to be up here, but it's actually up here, and there's another cross at the top there. And this person here is reaching out to God. I've only been to church once since I arrived here. Tomorrow being Sunday, I'll probably go to the Vatican. Still a lot of restorative construction here, but let's continue onwards to the Roman Forum. Could you imagine what it'd be like later on when all the crowds are there? All the tour groups. That's one of the funny things about traveling, when you see tour groups and stuff like that. And the tour guide's walking around with some flag to identify himself or herself. There's a person who drove by in a scooter, all dressed in black, wearing clothing that's obviously for much colder weather, but perhaps I have a higher tolerance to cold than him. I'm always wary when I hear a scooter coming along, because that person might try to grab belongings and then take off, and you can't catch them because they're on a scooter. They're not putting any physical effort into mobility like you are to try to catch them. So always be aware of your surroundings. I've never actually had an issue traveling with dealing with pickpockets or anything like that, even though I stand out. But again, I also have an imposing figure. It's better to be safe. Somebody lost their hair tie. A couple times I needed a hair tie. You can see it in the distance here. I don't know why they have a crane here. I don't know. Oh, you know what? They're probably building new infrastructure, underground infrastructure. That's why there's all this construction up. This white crane here, that's actually a crane. People don't know what that is. That's actually a crane. So they might be installing new pipes or something. Wow, look at that, eh? So from a distance, it actually looks small, but as I'm coming closer, it's actually quite large. Imagine living in these apartments up top there. That'd be cool to wake up every morning to see the Coliseum and all the tour groups. In a way, I'm glad I didn't purchase an entrance ticket to this Coliseum. With all the construction going on, I can't imagine it being that enjoyable. I'm sure it'd still be enjoyable, but not the same with all this in the way. See if we get a closer look. Maybe not. Oh, maybe so. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, there's like some Arc de Triomphe looking building there. Now, I don't know exactly how old the Colosseum is. Obviously, at least a century, more than that. But could you just imagine the events that happened here? They have on this wall here a description of the years, but it's odd because they have, I guess it's going backwards. It says DC. What is DC? I guess prior to Christ? Like a BC, but DC, I'm not sure. But look, it's actually very, very large.
Turn right.
It's actually very, very large. But yeah, I mean, back during the times they had slaves here. They had all the criminals were thrown in here. Back when lions used to wander freely in Italy, they had lions in here. And this was a place of extreme violence. If you look at the architecture, so these are all slabs. You could see they're individually cut slabs. I don't know if they were formed before or after, but those are slabs of concrete or stone or something. And then over here it transitions to brick. You can see the transition line there. I'm sure that's restorative, I should say. And then everything here is just all original. I wouldn't be surprised if they took slaves and criminals and just threw them off the top here either. And did that in front of families and things like that. It's incredible. What is this? Somebody's getting married? In the same place that people were killed? Oh, check this out. I'll try to zoom in. So people get married here. There's a couple here that looks like they're about to get married, and there's a photographer with them. And there's a couple over here, looks like they're getting married. And they have like a small group, maybe in-laws or future in-laws. And then there's a photographer as well. But I didn't come here to watch people get married. You seen yesterday, locks were being cut. So these people, their marriage is going to last less than 3 years. Back in Canada, the divorce rate is 60%. So 6 out of 10 marriages fail within 7 years. Actually, I think it's more like 5 years now. I was just thinking earlier, so they had gladiators in here like Russell Crowe, back when Russell Crowe wasn't fat. But they had gladiator events here and all sorts of extreme violence. Imagine the testosterone level that men had back during that time. I have to move quickly to get out of the frame of this couple getting married. But the testosterone level of the men back then would have been well over 1,000, like 1,500, probably close to 2,000 or more. And then you look at the testosterone level of men nowadays, it's barely 300 for a man in his 20s. Most men these days can't even fight their way out of a wet paper bag. See, one of the wonderful things about waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning and going for an explorative walk is I have all these videos that I could take without all the damn crowds. See that? I'm walking backwards, so I have to watch out. But yeah, look at that.
Turn left.